Thank you. Please be seated. Members of the National Assembly that are here with us today, members of the Federal Executive Council, we are pleased to have Dr. Kabruka with us, the President of ADB. Thank you for your participation. The Chairman and Board members of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, thank you for what you are doing. Members of the Diplomatic Corps, captains of industry, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by appreciating our young farmers. And I believe that just like I was fascinated, most of you, when you listen to them, you feel proud. And just like Kabruka was telling me, after listening to these young men and women, that this is the middle class. And in a country where the middle class now go into farming, that is the beginning of the proper revolution. So Mrs. Ndidi Weneli, thank you. Mrs. Mosu Moru, thank you. Kofo Adegoke, thank you. Nemeka, we are pleased with you. Eliel Sam, thank you. Tafida Isa, you said you were forced into the business, but you are doing wonderfully well, and you are now happy to be there because you want to be like Dangote, and you'll be there. Thank you. Francis Okwaro, thank you. Adeni Adenuga, we are pleased with you. I am delighted to be here with you on this occasion of the formal opening of the 19th Nigerian Economic Summit, the third in the life of this administration. The summit is jointly organized, as we've been told, by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, the National Planning Commission, and the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. The annual Nigerian Economic Summit has remained the foremost platform for dialogue between the public and private sectors. The summit is in the 20th year. I congratulate the Nigerian Economic Summit Group and the National Planning Commission on this achievement of sustained dialogue over the last 20 years, because it's not easy to maintain something that money is needed to be spent. The summit provides an opportunity to discuss issues and challenges facing the development of our country with a view to finding practical solutions. Let me therefore commend the organizers for being steadfast and consistent in providing this national platform that fosters open and continued dialogue on Nigeria's economic development. Though from what we have been told, that this year's summit is unique because it's set to focus on a single sector of the economy, that's agriculture. But I don't completely agree with that, because you cannot discuss agriculture without discussing land. You cannot discuss agriculture without talking about farm managers, agronomists, agri-engineers, and agri-economists, and that is education. You cannot discuss agriculture without talking about how do we evacuate your products, either by road, by rail, by air, as transportation, that cut across rail, roads, and aviation. Of course, you cannot discuss agriculture without talking about fertilizer, and you are talking about gas, and that is the petroleum industry. You can't discuss agriculture without talking about irrigation. Of course, you will be talking about water resources. And you can't discuss agriculture without talking about adding value to your products, and that is industry. And you can't discuss agriculture without talking about how do you sell your products, that is trade. And of course, you listen to the young people, they are talking about money, banks, and so on. So you can't discuss agriculture without talking about finance, which is the core of the economy. So we are only using agriculture as the fulcrum to discuss the Nigerian economy this year. And I have to thank all those who have come to participate in this robust dialogue. This summit is coming at a critical time in our political history, following my formal launching of the mid-term report of the transformation agenda of our administration during the Democracy Day celebration on May 29 this year. It is the determination of this administration to lay a solid foundation for the transformation of Nigeria's agricultural sector for enhanced growth and development. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the summit theme, which is growing agriculture as a business to diversify Nigeria's economy, is most appropriate, especially at this time that the country is more determined than ever to unlock the great potentials of agriculture in order to ensure food security, create jobs, and generate wealth. And I have to thank the young men and women that clearly discussed this topic, the issue of shifting away from thinking that agriculture is a simple poverty alleviation program and is subsisting agriculture to provide food for local people, but to begin to think that agriculture can make you have your own private jet. So I thank you for bringing out this very clearly. This summit is part of our continued effort to demonstrate our drive and commitment to work with the private sector to make agriculture, once again, the mainstay of our economy. Dr. Kabaluka said it all, that when he learned about Nigeria in civics and geography book in those days was the pyramids, the granite pyramids, and others. We all recall with nostalgia the role that agriculture played in the development of our country in the 60s before the advent of the oil industry. The predominant focus on oil led to the abandonment of agriculture. As a nation, we paid a huge price for that, and Nigeria became a net food importing country instead of a country that's supposed to export food to others, especially considering the fact that we have very rich ecological zones in this country, starting from the ocean, passing through the freshwater, swampy areas, through the savanna belt to the semi-arid areas, and even the plateau area that we have mountainous ranges that you can grow plants that grow in subtropical climates. The importance of food makes our economy vulnerable, as any price shock in the global food market impacts on us. We cannot depend on others to feed us. Our population is too big to depend on imported food. We launched the Agricultural Transformation Agenda at the start of this administration with the goal of adding 20 million metric tons of food to the domestic food supply and creating 3.5 million jobs for our young people. We now treat agriculture as a business in order to diversify our economy, generate employment, and create wealth for millions of our young people. And of course, I won't just listen to these young men and women. We know that we are going in the right direction. Our goal is to use agriculture as a springboard for Nigeria's industrialization. That is why we have taken a full value chain approach in the development of the agricultural sector. I must commend the Minister and Minister of Agriculture for what they are doing in this sector and what we have done in the past 2 years especially. The rice revolution that has been unleashed in the dry season across 10 states in the northern part of this country is a clear demonstration that our farmers, if well supported, can feed Nigeria and even beyond. The farmers produce in one dry season 1/3 of the additional rice paddy we need to become self-sufficient in rice production. Our target is to become self-sufficient in rice production. One dry season, they produce 1/3 of that requirement. And that is the first time we are doing the dry season rice farm. As private sector finance mills have expanded high-quality, locally milled rice, of course, Mr. Brown Rice, I've said it all, which is proudly Nigerian, has become available in the market. We are well on track in our drive to achieve self-sufficiency in rice production, and we believe by the cropping season of 2015 to 2016,